Oh, yeah? Mm-hmm. Okay, but we can't see the comments. Oh, no, we can. Okay. Are you sure? It seems frozen.
Yeah, it's just got terrible lag again.
Okay, well, good morning and welcome to our live stream today, and glad you could make it in. Let's see. It's gonna. Okay, so we'll see over there on the right? Yeah, there's comments.
Yeah.
Boy, it sure is laggy. And it seems a little different than the way we set it up. Error, YouTube not receiving enough to maintain a smooth video. Do we need to turn off our phones into airplane mode, maybe?
Or just take them off Wi-Fi.
Yeah. All right. Well, good morning, and hopefully we've got this going here this morning. You know, it's early for us and probably for you as well, and not our normal time, but Emily and I have a big day today. So anyway, with not much more ado, this is Ruth. I'm from Cmomb.com forum, and this is my daughter Emily. And so we are glad that you joined us today for our chat. And all of our babysitters are gone hunting up in the mountains. So if you hear babies in the background, it's just life. We tried to occupy them, but we'll see how that goes. Okay, so I wanted to start with, we've been going through the book, encouraging your relation, or how to be your husband's best friend. And I wanted to, last week I forgot to bring the blessing, and today I wanted to bring that. It was, don't overcommit yourself. Leave time for him, which I think is really good, because it seems like sometimes you see families where they're running this way and they're running that way. And I know both of us, we try to be home when our husbands get home, and not be off and doing things. I mean, sometimes it happens and everything, but just to be available for each other.
You really only have a small window of time to spend with him, so
it's true.
Might as well use it instead of going off and doing your own thing or whatever.
It's true. And I'm going to leave a link to this book that I'm referring to with these daily, well, we are using them as weekly reminders. Also, I'm going to leave a link to a popular recipe in the forum, which is baked oatmeal. We talked about that recently. Yep. And this particular discussion has, she's chitty-chatting. Anyway, this particular link has lots of variations that ladies have added to the discussion about this particular recipe, baked oatmeal. And without much ado, the rest of our discussion, we're going to be talking about using our spare time wisely as keepers of the home, and how we can do that. So, and I think that it applies to before kids, during kids, after kids, doesn't really matter. I think that it applies to everybody across the board, how we can use our time. So some of these will apply when you have kids, and some of them won't apply. Some of them will apply if your kids are in public school. Some of them will just be if you homeschool. So I don't want anybody to think I'm not considering them, because I kind of was trying to think about everybody in this aspect. So, okay, a few things are, one, you could build a business. And I think this is especially a nice idea for a young lady, either before marriage or before kids. I mean, you can do it after, and that's okay. But if you have something already set and rolling when the kids come along, then that's kind of nice, because you've got kind of something already laid, the foundation. It's a lot easier to start a small business before kids than it is when you have kids.
Yep.
It's not that it's not doable, it's just easier.
Yep. My twin sister and I started training horses.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I have not gotten back into training horses, but I hope too soon.
Yeah.
But it's something that I could do after I'm married.
And you enjoy it.
Yep.
And you've already got, clients, you've already got everything before you were even married. I mean, you've got a good reputation. So, And boy, you really have to be creative as to what you can do, what kind of jobs. You know, I think of some young ladies that I've met on the internet. Well, that one lady that I edited her book, her name escapes me right now, but that's okay. But she spent a lot of her time before kids writing a book and setting up a website and kind of getting a foundation. And I know that after all these years, she's still going strong. It's just that now that she's got kids, she's kind of changed it and tweaked it and just, you know, made her life part of the business, if you will. Mm-hmm. Including giving people ideas on how to start their own blog and business. So that's kind of neat. All right. Learning to be a home economist, which I think is really important. You know me, I'm a kind of thrifty. But I think that it's really good to spend time trying to figure out what stores have the best products that you want to buy or your husband likes to have, because when you come into a young marriage, you know, you have to consider, you can't just go, here's how we did it at home and this is what we're going to do now. It's like, no, you're making a new home. You have to consider what he wants.
Especially if you try to make food that you grew up with and your husband doesn't exactly like that. He likes stuff that he grew up with.
Yeah.
You gotta change a lot.
Yeah, I went through that too. Yep, I did. So I think being a home economist would be stretching $1, shopping around to find the best buys at local stores, learning to can and freeze and maybe already getting some going, learning to do a garden if you haven't learned these things at home already, cooking ahead and freezing meals, learning to do household chores, then work towards streamlining. Because when you are setting up your own home, it's a whole new ballgame. You're doing everybody's chores for you and your husband.
Yeah, that was a hard thing for me. Having to clean the whole house.
See, so when you're home and you complain about chores, you don't know how good you have it, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Let's see. But making sure you can balance your checkbook and making a budget, which will be all new when you get married. You'll have a new set of income. You'll have a new, you know, it's one thing to work it with your income from your own little business or your own income from whatever you bring in, and then it is to have this ongoing income from a spouse, and or even if you're doing your own business, if you're developing that, you have to know how to handle it and how to do the budgeting.
It takes stress off your husband too.
I think so, and you know, and some husbands like to do that kind of stuff, and that's totally okay. I personally think it's really good to work together on it, so you both know where the money's going and what's coming in, and you can just make a plan and work together. You could spend time sorting through seasonal kids' clothing when you have spare time. Seems like when you have a tassel of kids, that is a never-ending job. The seasons come, the seasons go.
Switching out outgrown clothes.
Yes, exactly. Figuring out which ones can go in the trash, which ones can go to the thrift store, which ones can be handed down, whatever the deal is. But that takes some time. And cleaning and organizing a big area. So I thought that spending your time... boo. Spending some time, you know, working on an area of the home that maybe just hasn't had some attention, had some neglect, or if you are just settling into a new home, it's the same thing. You still have areas that you want to streamline, whatever.
Yeah, or minimize. I really need to minimize because I got little spots that have like little catch-alls.
Yeah.
Which could really use a good cleaning and organizing. Or just stuffing in a tote or something.
Yeah, I was going to say, get a tote and you wipe it all off. I'm joking. But
You know, I thought about that yesterday.
Well, you know, see, maybe that would be a good topic for the future, is talking about organizing things, because I know that I've learned a lot over the years, and I know y'all can hear that bird in the back. Sorry about that, but it's life. Anyway, but maybe we should talk about that a little bit another time, organizing and how to do that. All right, so another item beyond being a home economist, goodness, I don't know why I can't say that right, is maybe learning crafts and hobbies that could be useful. Crocheting, knitting, selling crafts, scrapbooking with the kids, learning to sew clothes, cake decorating. I think the list could go on and on because there's a lot of things you can do.
Soap making.
Absolutely. Soap making. The only warning I have is that hobbies can cost a lot of money.
Yeah.
So you really, really have to be particular about what your family would find useful, what you could maybe sell or use, whatever. But I don't really recommend going out and like buying the latest, greatest of everything that's popular in the way of crafts. I mean, having a tumbler turner. Have you seen these?
I don't know.
Okay, so it's a popular craft right now, where they take like your insulated coffee mugs for travel, and they put them on this rotating tumbler thing. Okay, and then they do painting and glitter and epoxy. Like the stuff that your dad put on the table when he made the table.
I've seen them for sale from gals.
Yes, it's really popular right now. I don't recommend that that's maybe, the first craft to try. For one thing, I think it's really toxic, and I don't think it's talked about a lot, but it's better just to figure out what's really a practical thing. And I think, too, that when I think of crafts and things that are practical, I think of what I can pass on to my kids, too, or what we can do together. Like, I think that sewing is a real noble thing to learn to do because you can find useful...
I'm patching my husband's vests and clothes all the time.
Are you? Good. You replaced a zipper too, didn't you?
Yeah, in his coat.
Man,
he's always ripping holes in his little net work construction vest.
Yeah.
And they don't ever replace it, so I always got to fix it.
There's a hunting outfit downstairs, a big, huge overall thing that needs a zipper replaced. Maybe you'd like to do that. I'm not a very good seamstress. I admit it. I much prefer quilting.
I can sew, but I'm not a perfectionist.
Yeah, but I think it's really important to have those basics down. And, a person can make money off of doing seamstress work or sewing clothes or whatever, custom. Let's see. Okay, so I was thinking about some of the things that I spend my time on would be selling or vending at some craft fairs or the flea market. And I personally sell homemade vanilla and local raw honey, which is really popular because a lot of people use it for their allergies. It's a natural sweetener, so is a pretty good sweetener, those kinds of things. And then I was remembering that a number of years ago we read an article. I don't remember if it was in a No Greater Joy publication or if somebody on the forum brought it up. I'm not sure. It says we might need to optimize the video resolution. Do you want to do that real quick before I finish?
I don't know how to do that.
Oh, I don't either.
Maybe we should probably just keep going.
Okay. Anyway, it was about selling cookies. And so I remember saying, let's sell cookies. And what we ended up doing was we figured out what the laws were in our in the local city, which pretty much prohibited it right there. $100 for a business license. And you couldn't sell the cookies without the business license legally. So we decided that if we went on the other side of the river, we'd be outside the city. And you girls, I don't remember who it started with, started baking cookies and packaging them up and giving them to Ben, your brother. He took them to work, and all the guys at his work bought them all up. And so we really didn't go anywhere to do it, but it was still okay and legal and everything. But anyway, that was a good income. I don't remember who did that, but it was like $35 a day, and this was like 15 years ago, something like that. That was a really good thing, but that was something that you could do together, or if it's just a mom. Seems like the article might have been the mom, and she took her kids in the wagon and went and sold, at businesses. Another thing that the girls have done was to sell meals. Meals at the same place. It was my son's work, and they were able to just make multiples of whatever he was having, I guess, and sell meals. And the guys really like that.
Comments on these. Okay. First of all, you have to have a willing brother, if you are willing husband or whatever to deliver to his.
This is the ideas, remember, for so it's okay.
I was trying to get my husband to sell a blanket that I made for him. He was just giving them to his coworkers. I'm like, hey, you could sell them. But he was too nice. And I forgot what I was going to say now.
Well, you do have a bit of an entrepreneurial spirit. Yeah. So I could,
Oh, I don't remember what about the meals.
Was it about
the meals.
Okay.
So, an idea too that us girls did when we were younger was our brothers would pay us a certain amount of money each week, and we'd go out and shop for their whole meal prep stuff. We'd make a meal that they would agree with for the week, and then make it all up. And we got to keep all the extra money. So it also helped us learn how to pretty much get the best deal and all that kind of stuff.
Right. And just to clarify, this was so that the boys would have meals all week long when they were working.
Yeah, for their lunches.
Right. Yeah, that was I think that was a really good experience. Really good learning experience. Okay, so moving right along, another way you can spend your spare time is ministry and volunteering. I know we had a friend who used to volunteer at the, what's it called? Levy? I don't know if they call it something else anywhere else, but it's basically where young gals who find themselves pregnant can go and get counseling, and it's a pro-life place. It's not a pro-abortion. Free ultrasounds and so forth. So we had a friend that volunteered there. And another thing you could do is mentor younger women. There's always going to be younger women than yourself, whether it's in your community or online or wherever.
But for some people, that's just a way of life, so it's not exactly a spare time thing. But
yeah, and ministry is what you make it to, because really your life should reflect that to a certain degree, and that you take opportunity where it's at, because that's what your life is. That's your thumbprint on things. You can volunteer at Cmomb. There are all kinds of opportunities at Cmomb, things that we haven't even thought of. There's some ladies jump in and they'll coordinate a secret sister, or just an exchange. We've done bookmarks, we've done kitchen towel exchanges, we've done Christmas cards or Valentine's Day cards.
Did you do a fabric exchange at one point, or
possibly? Maybe Annie did. I don't remember. But there's always something to do, and I've often thought of this too, that there's a lot of women that will go from Cmomb and they'll go do their own thing, which is completely fine. That's totally okay. But I thought, boy, if we all worked together, that would be fun. It would be fun. It would be ministering to each other, and we'd have more, But it's okay. It's all right. It's all good. But there's opportunities whichever way you go. It doesn't have to be at Christian Moms and Many Blessings. Take the kids to a retirement or convalescent home, and we've done this quite a bit. And you don't even have to do anything. All you do is go to the rooms and talk to the people, and they love seeing children, because it's like we would tell the kids, there's a lot of grandmas and grandpas in here, and their family don't come and see them, which is true. It's very true. Oftentimes they're just put in there and that's it.
Yep.
So
my sister-in-law does that, actually. She likes to go and just visit and spend time with the old folks, and she'll
really nice.
She'll take one on a walk every week or whatever.
That's really nice.
One night they had a sleepover. They just visited all night.
Wow.
But yeah.
Do the elderly do that? They stay up?
One lady stayed up till a certain amount of time, and the other lady kept her up for the rest of the night.
Oh, funny. Wow. That's fun. That was a great idea.
And sometimes she would take the little nieces or nephew or whatever.
Yes, they love babies.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when Race was 9 days old, I think, we went and did a music concert at a convalescent home, and everybody loved seeing this newborn baby. It really ministered to them.
Yeah, you're okay.
Let's see. Picking up garbage on your road or in your community, on your neighborhood. We've done that quite a bit too.
Spring and fall are best
Yep,
times.
it was a good experience, I think, for us to do that. And we collected the cans and turned them in for recycling, and then we went and got ice cream or whatever it was. So that was a fun thing to be rewarded with, if nothing else. And we even had one neighbor who had a business, local business, and when he found out what we were doing, he told us to simply leave all the black garbage sacks along the road, and he would come and put them in his dumpster. So that was really nice. You'd be surprised at how much people will jump in. I think we even went one year, and was it our garbage service? I can't remember, but we requested black garbage sacks, and they provided them for us. You just need to be careful being on the side of the road with children. Don't want anybody to get hit by a car. Lots of safety.
Yeah, we've actually found money in garbage on the side of the road.
That's right, we have. That was really cool. It was almost like somebody had wrapped up the money in a receipt and threw it out the window. Mm-hmm. That was really, and it was quite a bit too, as I recall.
Yeah.
That was cool. All right, let's see. Coordinating your own after-school Bible class in your home. I'm thinking of a 5-day club or a VBS, which there's lots of different aspects. We've done that, haven't we?
Us kids have done it amongst ourselves.
Yeah, where, somebody's in charge of songs, somebody's in charge of a snack, whatever. And I know a woman, a dear friend of ours, who she would have kids in, I don't know if it was every day after school. She was retired and she didn't have a husband around, so she had lots of time for this particular ministry. But she would let the kids come in instead of getting in trouble or being at home by themselves. She would provide a snack and a whole little Bible class for them. And anyway, it was a really good opportunity for her to minister and reach the kids. And of course, she had the parents' approval. Making and delivering a meal to a family that's just had a baby, or another busy mom, or a widow, or the elderly. I think that's a good way to minister as well and spend your time. When I think of all these things, I think of people I've known, friends, or that have done all these kinds of things, and how it was a really good experience for the kids. You can hear grandson down here and granddaughter. Okay, and putting together a women's ministry or retreat, which we've also done that as well. And tea parties or spring mother gatherings or whatever, where we did singing and devotional and shared a meal and had ladies able to get to socialize and meet other women that we were friends with, and just kind of having a good experience to minister to each other. And that, just the whole process of these things, putting these things together. I think Esther wants to tell us all about it, don't you? All right, so being a homeschool mom myself, I like to take educational opportunities. So I think there's something to be said for continuing learning, because I think that home education is a lifestyle. It's not that you do it between this time and that time and then you're done. I think it's all day. I think we take experiences and run with them. So maybe you could go on field trips, which you could also coordinate with other families, and maybe go around and see what your local historical sites are, or museums, or whatever. We did a field trip once. Do you remember this? We went even to Cabela's to see all the stuffed animals.
Yep.
And we went to the Fish, Wildlife, and Parks to see all those stuffed animals. And we learned about those. And then a neighbor of ours rented or borrowed from the extension office a tote that contained all kinds of furs and bones from different wild animals. So we were able to do some extracurricular activities by getting those and feeling them and seeing what they were like. Go to the library. That's usually a pretty good one. That's a good way to spend some time. Go on a hike or a nature walk. There's just endless ideas what you can do with school with that, but it doesn't have to feel like school. You're doing something fun and, looking at the flowers and the bugs and whatever it is.
I'm big into the wild plant identification and
Yeah.
ability and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
there's some really good wild plant identification books. Don't you have some, or those birds, or it seems like you
I used to
one.
have some. I don't remember where they went, or maybe I got them from the library too. I think I did that too.
Okay, but that's a good one. And we also stopped by the extension office and checked out the brochures that teach everything from lawnmower maintenance to recipes for breakfast. They have like so many things. So the lawn maintenance one was really good for the kids when they were going to go do the lawnmower, and it was like, okay, you got to check your oil, you have to check this is how you do that, and the safety of it all. There's some good information there. You know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah. And there you go. Just taking care of your yard. That's a good way to spend your extra time as well. Just simply spending time with the kids. That's a good way. Just talking. Just spend time talking about things.
Mm-hmm.
Go fishing. There's things to learn with fishing. It's a good thing to learn. Just read. Read books. Read to each other or read to yourself, or audiobooks.
That was our biggest time waster growing up.
Spender, dear. Spender, not waster.
Yeah. We had a lot of books.
Yes, we do have a lot of books. Research and write a book. I know there's a lot of moms who've done that, and they make a little income off of that as well, but they can share that information with other moms. Teach piano or another instrument. That's a good way to spend time. And, a lot of these, when we talked about ministry being a lifestyle, and even educational lifestyle, there's something to be said for all of these, because whether you're coming across people or, whatever you're doing, kind of flows over, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Garden. Did I mention that before?
You
Garden.
mentioned. Yeah. Teaching instrument, you got to learn it first, and that can take a lot of time too.
Definitely, and that's fun. And we did
enjoyable.
spend a lot of time with learning instruments,
Yep.
didn't you? And voice lessons and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Since we have a family music group, we go and do concerts, and there's just so much involved around all of that, whether it's ministry or education, and that's a really good way to spend time together. And as a family, we chose to do that instead of sports and athletics, although some of the kids have done some, but it was together pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
We'd go together, or we didn't have too many people involved, so that it wasn't that we were splitting up and some of the family had to go over here and some of the family over here. Instead, we did everything together. And now I drew a blank. The music is the same way. We've just felt like the music, we would do it together, and music crosses borders. It's eternal. There's a lot of benefits to music, so that's how we chose that. And watch documentaries, which is one of my favorite things. So we've found some documentaries on World War II and World War I, and those have been kind of interesting. So I'm going to put a link to more discussion on this particular topic at the forum and things that we've talked about. This particular forum is entitled "She Eateth Not the Bread of Idleness." And I thought that was a really appropriate title, because when I was looking at the Proverbs 31 woman, she was busy and she was doing things.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah. And I think that depending upon where you're at, whether you're on bed rest or whether you're sick or whether you're well, I think that there's so many different things you can do just from where you're at. It's just, it looks different to everybody, and every family is different.
Yep. And another thing is, if what you're doing cuts into your weekend or your time with your husband, it's probably a good idea to make sure that he approves of whatever's going on.
And that kind of goes back to our blessing your husband in the beginning that we were talking about. It's exactly right. And you're absolutely right. When I've done all these things, I'll just double check. Double check. How's this? Because maybe I'm not thinking with my husband. Maybe I'm not thinking necessarily the whole thing. And he'll come in from a clean view and say, well, you've done that before and it really caused you stress, or it took too much of your time, or remember the logistics of it, or it cost too much, or whatever it was. We can discuss those things and weigh them, plan on them, whatever. And then when we're all on the same page, it's okay. It's like, honey, we're still at the zoo. No problem. I'll just, make my coffee and have a snack or whatever. So it's like not a big deal if you already are both on the same page in agreement. It makes it a lot easier.
And I already know ahead of time that my husband prefers me to not just go out on the weekends without him. He likes to either be with me or just stay at home with him. So
your husband likes to be with you?
Yeah. He likes me.
That's good. And you're nurturing it by being with him, right?
Yeah.
That's a good thing. It's a good thing.
I usually just do everything during the week while he's at work. And then I make sure we got our time together.
And that's pretty much how you grew up, too. That's what I did.
Yep.
Pretty much.
Yep.
So whether my husband was gone most of the week. So during the week, we'd do all of our activities. But when he was home at nighttime, every night, then we would just do them in the day. And make sure we were home to make sure the house was straightened, or we'd straighten before we left, just so that when he came home, it wasn't a disaster and a surprise, and he felt like we had to do stuff. So, since he was working all day.
Then we just got to sit down and visit with him.
That's right. It made life nice and pleasant. So, anyway, well, anything more to add?
Nope, I just did as we went.
Sometimes I feel like we race through these. Yeah, but
well, if you have any suggestions,
definitely
in the comments or go to the forum, and I think it's in that topic of She Eats Not the Bread of Idleness.
Right, and I will put a link. I'll put a link down below
to continue talking about it.
Yeah, definitely. There's lots of good ideas and suggestions, and last week I mentioned that I might be moving to another YouTube channel just because of the difficulty to get into this one, but I think I figured a way around it. Let's just say that YouTube doesn't make things very easy. I mean, just trying to turn this live stream on was, and we've done it, this is like our third time, was really tough to figure it out. So, yeah. So we don't need to move, I don't think. I think we'll be okay here.
Okay.
So be sure to subscribe and click on the bell so you can be notified when we do go live. And you'll get an email. That's good. And I guess that's it. And we look forward to your feedback and as we work some of these things out. So anyway, thanks for joining us today and have a good rest of the day.